This was part of a discussion about what exactly does the prefrontal lobe do? What is its job? And Professor Scherder will now explain that, and then we're going to reflect on what that actually means for our daily practice.
The prefrontal lobe, which is this part of the brain here, is the part that is extremely important for our higher order cognitive functions like planning, working memory, executive attention. That means that you can look at all types of conflicting things that you have to make a decision there, decision making, inhibitory control over your impulses, self-reflection, etc. So if you are completely occupied there with that part of the brain, then there is less space for something else.
Yeah.
But if you start up with meditation and you come in this rest state, then I think that the prefrontal is also part of the default, not only, but it is part of a large network.
There is so much information in this very short explanation of Professor. And I'd just like to read a few things out to you just to let it sink in. He says the prefrontal lobe has control over the way we plan, our memory, executive attention, decision-making, self-reflection. It also inhibits impulses, it restrains them. I mean, how cool is all of that? And then what we're saying is it's also part of the default mode network, meaning that when we sit down at the beginning with the prefrontal lobe, it will be a very big challenge for us, of course, when so much is normally going on there, to actually ask your brain to not do all of that, just to give it a rest, give it some space. And that is what you're feeling when you're sitting on a cushion or sitting down and trying to bring yourself into this, let's say, default rest state, which is actually what does happen with meditation when you become very experienced. You sort of, take the internet of your brain out and it becomes very, very spacious so that new network patterns can be made. That's how I experience it when I'm meditating. So what I'd like to say is to understand the immenseness of what's actually going on all the time in our brain, and to realize that we can give our brain a time out if we can persevere. But the reason I'm making these videos is to try and encourage you to go through the tough times at the beginning, so that at the end you'll be able to choose at any time in the day how to just say to your brain, you know what, you can take a time out now. You don't have to be making executive decisions. All of the conflicts you can just leave for a moment, and you don't have to be even self-reflecting. None of that. You can just do nothing. But to learn to do nothing, strangely enough, takes a lot of effort.